Okay, I'm gonna continue reading The Horned God of the Witches. This is chapter 8, the devotional altar for Cernunnos. Growing closer to Cernunnos can be challenging. He is a god with no mythology and lacking much of a modern footprint outside the world of witchcraft and pagan circles. Materials referencing him are scarce. When people ask me about the best way to grow closer to a deity, I usually tell them to try talking with that deity, which is a great place to start. However, we can take a simple act of speaking with a deity up a notch by building a devotional altar to them. A devotional altar is just what it sounds like. It's an altar designed as a specific place to pay devotion to a particular deity, but it can also be more than that. My Cernunnos altar not only is a place to show my devotion to C, as we call him around the house, but is also the focal point of my personal and magical interactions with him. I use my Cernunnos altar both to lead my liberations and to better my own situation through magic. Since a relationship with the gods are uh, reciprocal, these interactions feel especially appropriate to me. Devotion altar is a different form is different from a working altar used in a ritual, as it's meant to be semi-permanent. So when setting up your devotional altar, try to find a place that can be dedicated strictly to Cernunnos. This doesn't have to be an elaborate spot in your home. The top of the bookshelf or dresser works especially well, but that if that's not an option, then a corner of a living room table or a fireplace mantle will work too. An empty shelf on a bookcase is fine as well, and you could even just put a shelf on your wall and use it for your devotional altar. The larger your space, the more you'll be able to do with your devotional altar, but there are always creative workarounds if space is at a premium. Items for Cernunnos altar. Once you've found a place for your Cernunnos altar, you'll want to gather items to put on it. Whether you place your altar, whether you place on your whatever you place on your altar should resonate with your personal understanding of Cernunnos. If you just can't view him as a god of death and the afterlife, then don't include anything honoring those aspects of him. While it's an altar for Cernunnos, it's also your place and you should be comfortable using it. With that said, these are the items I recommend for a Cernunnos altar. Representation of Cernunnos. The earliest thing to use here is a statue of Cernunnos. Statues are used as focal points for devotion in the ancient world and are still used by many witches today. While I'm a big fan of statues, they can be prohibitively expensive. In addition, many witches are uncomfortable using mass-produced items. If either of these conditions applies to you, not using a statue is completely acceptable. An easy alternative is simply using a picture of Cernunnos. This could be something on heavy paper stock, such as a postcard, a painting, or drawing for a favorite artist, which includes yourself. This includes yourself or something printed off your computer. Candles are long have long been used to represent deity, so a single green pillar candle that's lit only when you are working with your Cernunnos altar is another good option. Natural items work here too. A pair of shed altars, or even uh, just a single altar, is a perfect representation of a godlike Cernunnos. You could also choose a necklace that looks like a torque, which can easily be found online at a Renaissance festivals, or use something from the woods like a pine cone or a fallen branch. One of my favorite ways to represent Cernunnos on an altar is by getting a bunch of fallen leaves, fashioning them into something resembling a wide circle. Uh, Glue works just fine here, and then placing a candle in the center of the leaves. If you go if you go this route, make sure there's a good amount of distance between your candle and the leaves. Both you and Cernunnos don't want you starting a house fire in his honor. A libation offering bowl. Because a devotional altar is a place to show devotion, you'll want a bowl in which you can leave gifts for Cernunnos. I think the best sort of offerings are liquid ones, and generally alcohol, but you can leave Cernunnos anything you think he'll enjoy. Whatever you offer the god should be something you enjoy or indulge in yourself. If you don't drink beer, then that would be a poor choice to place in an offering bowl. Whenever you use in your liberation bowl, be sure it be sure it is long enough to hold whatever you choose to pour in it, and is leak proof. This sounds like common sense stuff, but I have used bowls for libations that had cracks in them that I was unaware of. If you are uncomfortable with physical or liquid offerings, incense is another option here. Instead of leaving Cernunnos wine or beer, you could burn incense to honor him. If you choose to go this route, I suggest using earthly scents, representative of the outdoors, such as sandalwood. Incense that suggest wealth, such as frankincense or myrrh, are also good options. Whether you choose, Whatever you choose should resonate with both you and the god. Something related to hunting. This might be the trickiest thing on my list. On my Cernunnos altar, I have a small collection of arrowheads that I've picked up over the years. Another alternative here is an arrow, even better if you made it yourself. You might also choose to go with a tool you already have, such as an athame or other ritual knife. If your altar is especially big, you could probably place a sword, an axe, or a spear on it, a pinnacle, or other portal. In modern witchcraft, the word pinnacle most often refers to a disc shaped working tool made of metal, clay, or wood with a star in its center. Most pinnacles utilize the five-pointed star, but traditionally pinnacles have lots of different symbols in the middle. Though pinnacles today are generally used when blessing things like water, salt, and incense during ritual, traditionally pinnacles are gateways and portals to other worlds. I include a pinnacle in my Cernunnos altar because he is a god and therefore dwells in the lands that deities dwell in, but also because as a god of death, he is tied to whatever lies beyond our world. The Summerlands, or Land of the Dead. I also think that as a god of death, Cernunnos rules over the land of death in some way, so the pinnacle serves another purpose. It's a gateway that my beloved and mighty dead can use to visit me on my Cernunnos altar. Is the pinnacle too Wiccan for you? If so, there are other options. Basically, you want whatever you use here to be representative of the crossing over from life to death and back again. To that end, you could use a pinnacle of a cemetery, gravestones, or even just a crossroads. You could also design your own sigil here if that works for you. Pictures of your dead. It's not necessary to place photos on those you've lost on your Cernunnos altar, but as a god of the dead, he doesn't mind sharing his place a bit. I've found Cernunnos is a great facilitator between the spirits of the dead and those of us here in the world of the living, because the dead exist in his other world. Learning from them can be a powerful tool for growing closer to Cernunnos. A small dish or jar for coins. Do you have a small jar or dish lying around the house that will hold a quarter? Then you've got something that will work to represent Cernunnos' power as a god of wealth and money. You can use a clear jar here, or something picked up from a witch store. Whatever you use does not have to be fancy. When you set this on your altar, be sure to have a few coins ready to place in or on it. Something from the natural world, because Cernunnos is also a god of this world in the wild spaces. You want something from nature on your altar. It could be something directly related to him or something that just resonates with you. On my altar, I have a Cernunno statue to represent the god, and a pair of a pair of antlers that represents his place in the world. Simpler options are fine too, like seeds, pine cones, or acorns. You could also choose something living, such as a potted plant. If you're capable of keeping your altar clean and maintained, then fresh cut flowers are another option. However, don't use this option if you are incapable of replacing the flowers regularly. Gods don't want rotting flowers on their altars. Something related to domesticated animals. Because of the hunting dogs on the uh, Gundistro cauldron, I've always associated Cernunnos with domesticated animals. If you have an animal companion, putting their picture on your Cernunnos altar is appropriate. You can also put something there that simply reminds you of them, such as one of their toys. If you want to add a little extra magic to whatever you use here, add a piece of your cat's or dog's or whatever hair to it. I know the Goodness Strip Cauldron only includes dogs, but I'm pretty sure Cernunnos doesn't have uh, a hat red, sorry, a hatred of cats. There we go. I So don't feel bad if you have a cat and not a dog. Whatever else works for you. These are the things on my Cernunnos altar, but feel free to add more items if that works for you. Setting up your devotional altar. There's no one right way to set up an altar. It can be something you do silently in a rather mundane way, or you can turn it into a full fledged ritual. However, you do it, be sure that whatever you're using for your altar is clean, both physically and spiritually. Wipe down your altar space and make sure it's free of dirt and dust. Once that's done, cleanse the space with smoke or salted water to remove any negativity from the space. While you can just place your items on the altar, I think it's far more effective to verbalize your intentions to both yourself and Cernunnos as you set up your new space. Start by deciding where you want to place whatever it is you're using to represent Cernunnos. Most of us will probably want to place him in the middle, but if it makes more sense to you to put him on the left or right side of your altar, that's fine. As you place him in the spot that works best for you, welcome him to the altar. In the name of Cernunnos, I set up this altar. May it serve as a place to grow my relationship with He who is Lord of the wild spaces and keeper of the dead. Great Cernunnos, be welcome in this place for as long as it pleases Thee. May we work with May we work our will together, O ancient antlered one, so mote it be. Next, place your libation bowl on the altar and verbalize its purpose. May this bowl serve as a place for the offerings I freely and gladly give to you, Cernunnos. May my gift strengthen you and your influence upon the world, so mote it be. Pick up whatever it is you have chosen to represent the natural world and let it rest in your hand for a moment. Imagine where exactly it came from and how it connects to the natural world. Feel its energy pulse in your grip and picture it with Great Cernunnos. Say, Great Cernunnos, Lord and Protector of the natural world, I place this name of item on your altar. May it strengthen the relationship we have with each other and our connection to the natural world, so mote it be. Place the item you are using to collect coins and place it upon your altar. When it's secure, place a couple of coins in it while saying, I give these coins to you so that you might create abundance and wealth in my life. As I give to you, I ask that you might also give to me. Bless this altar with your abundance, and may this space help me manifest my true will, so mote it be. Pick up whatever object you've chosen to represent the idea of the hunt. As you hold it in your hand, visualize the things you hunt for in this life. Most likely, it's not for deer or other game animals, but for things we all desire: a solid job, a partner's love, a place to call home, etc. Imagine yourself tracking these things down and overcoming the obstacles that stand between you and your end goals. Place your item upon the altar while saying, I dedicate this name of item to Lord Cernunnos. May it bring me closer to you and your ways and help me to triumph over any adversity I might experience, so mote it be. There are several different ways to place your pinnacle upon the altar. If your pinnacle is large enough, you might want to set whatever you're using to represent Cernunnos on top of it. You might feel more comfortable simply placing it on the altar and then setting Cernunnos on top of it only during certain circumstances or never at all. Remember, this is your and Cernunnos' altar. You do what you feel is right. When you set the pinnacle down, say, I place this gateway upon my altar to ever remind me that Cernunnos exists in both this world and the next. Great Cernunnos, help me to understand all of your mysteries, those of the living and the dead. Open wide the portals between the world and those of the Summerlands when I need lessons that can only be provided by the dead and the Lord who watches over the souls that have departed this world, so mote it be. If you have pictures of your beloved and mighty dead, that you want to put on your altar, now is a good time to do so. In my own practice, I place these images to the back to the back of my Cernunnos altar to signify that the altar belongs to C first and foremost. It sounds petty to say, but even gods can be a bit jealous. As you place the items on your altar, address Cernunnos. I place these pictures here as reminders of the souls in your care and the world beyond. Cernunnos, watch over those I've lost and allow them to visit and guide me as you see fit, so mote it be. The last item for the altar from my list is something representative of a beloved animal companion, and yes, this could be one who passed on. This is, of course, completely optional, but for many of us, animal companions are valued members of the family. As you set your item on the altar, say, Great Cernunnos, watch over my beloved name of animal companion. May you keep them safe from harm in its world and embrace them in the next. When their animal nature comes to the to the foray, may I see the natural world and your mysteries reflected within it. Bless my relationship with this creature, and may your protection of it bring us closer together. So mote it be. At this point, add whatever else you desire to your devotional altar. Be sure to verbalize the purpose of each item you place on it. When you have everything set up as you see fit, take a step back and look at your altar. Does anything feel out of place? This could be Cernunnos asking you to rearrange things slightly, so be aware of any messages he may be trying to send you. When you are sure that Cernunnos is comfortable with what you have built, dedicate everything to him one last time and pour him an offering. I have built this altar to further my relationship with you, great Cernunnos. May it serve as a place for strength for us both and as a space to facilitate our communication. I ask that you share your mysteries with me here and help me to connect with you and your wonders. As I dedicate this altar to you, I pour you this libation, pour an offering, freely and happily given. This may my offering strengthen our bond and give you power to bring change to my life in this world. Great Cernunnos, be welcome in this space, so mote it be. How to use your Cernunnos altar. The easiest way to use your Cernunnos altar is as a focal point for interacting with the god. I think prayer is sometimes a dirty word in witchcraft circles, but prayer is really just speaking with or to a deity, that type of communication is a great way to build a relationship. Having that kind of interaction at a specific spot makes it more focused. I can chat with Cernunnos anywhere, but doing so in front of my altar makes makes the act more specifically to my witchcraft practice. Using your altar as a place to talk to Cernunnos is the most important function it will serve. Pouring libations to the god in my life is very important to me, and this is probably the second most important part of the devotional altar. I believe the gods want to know that we are thinking about them, and sharing some whiskey or wine with them is a good way to show that acknowledgement. Many of us who actively give our gods offerings do so continuously on a daily or weekly basis. And when we forget for a day or two, we often break out the good stuff, such as a 21-year-old single malt as a form of apology. Others reserve offerings for special occasions such as Sabbaths and sorry, or other such as Sabbaths or after a positive life event they think the deity helped them with. Anytime you ask a god like Cernunnos for assistance with something, it is customarily to pour a libation as a thank you. It's the least we can do. On our devotional altars, I tend just to leave liquid gifts, generally alcoholic ones, but you should use what you are most comfortable with. Clean spring water is a fine libation, provided it is given with reverence and it means something to you. Unlike the offering of food, which will eventually rot and attract bugs, liquid offerings will typically evaporate on their own. However, unless you are leaving only water to Cernunnos, whatever you pour out to him will eventually leave a sticky residue in the bottom of your bowl. Because of this, you should wash your bowl every couple of weeks. No one wants a gift in a dirty bowl. While a devotional altar is primarily a place to grow closer to deity, it can also be used for magical purposes. Not only are the things I have on my Cernunnos altar there in honor of him, but almost all of them have magical significance as well. Specifically, the items on my Cernunnos altar are representative of the idea of sympathetic magic, or like attracts like. Leaving coins to Cernunnos on his altar is a way of attracting wealth unto my own life. Every time I leave Cernunnos some spare change, I say, "For the God, may your material blessings fall upon me." Mm. When I find myself or a friend in dire financial need, I take what I have collected in my ball and give it to charity, hand it directly to someone in need, or leave it in a place where I feel it will do some good. As I do so, I ask that Cernunnos allow wealth to return to me or whoever else. As I share it with the world, may the world also share with me. Let my needs be met and keep me from want. I make this sacrifice in the name of Cernunnos, so mote it be. There's an old adage that says, it takes money to make money, that, and giving money to the gods is a way to receive it in return. When job searching or simply trying get my to get my next book picked up by my publisher, I will write down those desires on a piece of paper and place them in the dish full of arrowheads on my Cernunnos altar. While doing so, I'll say, let my will fly true as I begin the next project of my life. Illuminate the way and bring me that which I currently seek. So might it be. I'll repeat that little mantra every day until I obtain my desires to realize till I obtain my desires or realize I don't want what I originally asked for. Yes, the latter sometimes happens, which is why the mantra begins with let my will fly true. Sometimes we are wrong about what we desire, what we most desire. When we when what I want has manifested or I've moved on, I then take a piece of paper and either throw it away or burn it to ashes. Then I pour Cernunnos a libation. I often use my Cernunnos altar as a focal point for working with my beloved dead. I usually begin by placing Cernunnos upon the altar pinnacle and visualizing the star in the pinnacle's center, opening like an eye. That opening signifies the entryway into the realm of the dead. Then I think of the person I wish to feel close to again, visualizing them in my mind's eye and conjuring up memories of their voice. Then I invoke Cernunnos. Open wide the gates between this world and the next. Let me feel the presence and the power of those who reside in the realm of the dead. May I feel them close to me once more in this, my time of need. I ask these things in the name of Cernunnos, so mote it be. Then I talk to those I've lost, much like I talk to Cernunnos at his altar. Other times I'm simply still feeling the energies of those I've lost close to me, again while being aware of any communication they might be trying to share with me. When I find myself frightened to death, I sometimes ask this boon of Cernunnos just as reassurance that there is an existence on the other side of the veil. When I'm feeling disconnected from nature, I visit my Cernunnos altar and touch the item I've placed there to represent the natural world, in my case, a pair of antlers. Holding those antlers in my hand allows me to feel the power and awe of nature, all without having to leave my office. It's an especially powerful piece of magic when I am trapped inside my house, or even when my stubborn neighborhood, or even just my suburban neighborhood for days on end. It's easy to become separate from the wild pulse of the world, having an anchor to that energy and having it blessed by Cernunnos is one of the most important pieces of magic in my life. I do not think that Cernunnos is a god of wealth or healing in a traditional sense, but since I believe he looks over domesticated animals, I do ask him to watch over my cats on occasion. The Cernunnos statue on my altar has the god in his traditional setting posture, and when I worry about one of my cats for whatever reason, I place the object I use to represent my cats on Cernunnos' lap. This is a direct message to the god that I'm looking for assistance and that I trust him with my precious fur babies. When working magic for my cats, with I'm rather direct with Cernunnos. Great Horn Lord, I ask that you look after name of animal companion. Keep her healthy, keep her safe, and keep her free from harm. Watch her as you watch the animal companions of old, offering assistance and care now when it's needed most, so mote it be. Needless to say, I always pour Cernunnos a libation after such a request. Sometimes, though, all of the prayers and the magic cannot overcome death. Our animal companions will die and move on to the next world, and when they do, I always ask Cernunnos to watch over them. Cernunnos, into your care I place the spirit of my dearly departed name of animal companion. Welcome her into your other realm and give her the comfort she needs in this time of transaction. Through your cauldron, may she be able to continue to feel my love and affection, and may I feel all that she might offer me. Great God of the living and the dead, give us both solace and peace in this time of transition, so mote it be. When my longtime cat princess died, I kept a picture of her cradled in Cernunnos' lap for almost a year. On a nearly daily basis for many months, I shed my tears at Cernunnos' altar while thanking him for taking care of my dear one in this next stage of her existence. It's the best use I've ever made of my Cernunnos altar, and he was right there with me the entire time. While the altar written about in this chapter was designed specifically for Cernunnos, with a few changes, you can use it as a template to build a devotional altar to the larger horn god or specific deities such as Pan or Herne. The only adjustment you'll really have to make involves swiping out the things on the altar that are specifically for Cernunnos and replacing them with different items to represent the deity you wish to work with. If acceptable, if I was building a devotional altar for Pan, for example, I would add something phallic or sexual, a pan flute or a token representative of his nymphs, while removing the coins, pentacle, and anything else suggestive of death.